What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Herr Lounge Podcast. Y'all know I usually start with a positive quote, but today we kind of have to speed it up because my girl is here.
I can actually give you a quote.
Oh, let's hear it.
Because it's actually one that I put in my own branding.
There you go.
Create the life you want to live.
There you go.
This is actually something I can prepare.
Yeah.
I know how the podcast works.
Yeah.
But that's one of my favorite quotes. It's something that I've lived by, and I think you kind of live by it as well too. Any entrepreneur, you're about creating.
Exactly. So, Ilse has been on before because of the fact that she is, or right now I'm taking a break, but we're going to be back. Don't worry about it, guys. I've already ranted on my podcast a gazillion times about getting back on my social media. So she does her apparel social media. She does it for a bunch of other clients out there, but she's starting a new venture, and I thought it was perfect for her to come on because as an entrepreneur, sometimes, you just kind of like come up with like, you know what, I'd like to start another business because I like this, and I'm tired of having to dip into, not saying you don't enjoy supporting other people, but sometimes I feel like you buy something so much to where it's like, why don't I do this if I do it so much? Does that make sense?
And I think for me, the biggest thing and inspiration behind all of this is that all of my clients are basically businesses, brands, and entrepreneurs that have their own products. So I've been the person behind the scenes taking the photos and the videos, and the client comes to me and like, this is the vision. I need a photo of this. I want the product shown like that, which is great. That's my job, basically, to fulfill the vision of my client. But then being able to now have a brand where it's my own product, having full creative freedom on how to present a product is so fulfilling. And although, yes, it's a business, to me, honestly, this has been like, I would always joke about, it's like, I don't have a hobby.
Yeah.
So this is my hobby. Like, and I've had so much fun just having a vision on how I want to present the products. And saying, if I want to go to the beach and take a photo of a candle at the beach,
for sure,
I can do that because it's my product and it's my vision. And I think that's the most fun part of it.
I know.
Just having that creative freedom, having these ideas, being able to execute. Because when it's my client, you're the client. I gotta, whatever your vision is, my job is to execute. So now being able to tap into all of these ideas that I've had that maybe I haven't been able to really tap into with other clients has been super rewarding. So I think that's honestly my favorite part so far. I can generally say, I'm like, I have so much fun.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Okay, but I have I'm going to ask it now before I forget. Now that you are, because I want to ask other questions about your brand, but now that you're pouring into this as your own brand, have you thought about almost being the creative director for other brands? Now that you not that you didn't understand it before, but like you said before, it's like, this is my job. I'm here to do what you're wanting to execute. Yes, you voice your opinion, but it's
you have your aesthetic.
You already have know what you want.
I have to respect the client's vision for it. Yeah.
So now that you're doing this, do you feel like, wait a second, I could totally be a creative director for someone's brand? Do you feel that like
100%.
Coming on or no?
And I actually feel that is a whole other part of fulfillment that I hadn't felt, because with my brand, I've been planning this since, technically years ago, but actually executing, it's been a year. Yeah. And the fact that I had this time to really start from the bottom of like starting with no products, I've even now, beyond being a creative director, I've even now had clients that don't have a brand. Like, I want to have my own brand. I want to sell products. And I can genuinely say now, like, I can help you with that, because
it's a whole different other business. So not only did you open up a business, you opened up another portion of your other business.
Oh yeah, because I would do a lot of consulting for marketing and social media, and so now I get people asking me, well, you've already launched your own brand online with products. Can you help me do it? Yep. And I can actually say, yeah, because I've done it from scratch.
Yep.
Like, I've built a website I did everything myself. I did my website from scratch. Obviously, like, I had the right contacts even for legal stuff, like, basically structuring like the business correctly. So all of that behind the scenes administrative aspect of things, I think has opened up a whole other realm of being able to help other businesses. Because before it's like, yeah, I can help you launch a business that's service-based.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have experience launching a product, but now it has truly allowed me. And that's what I'm really excited about, is being able that if someone tells me, hey, I want to do a product like before, I'd be like, I've never done that. Like I'll send it to someone else.
Yeah.
But now I'm super excited about that. And definitely having, like, if someone presents a product to me, now I can look at a product and be like, this is how you can launch it. This is what you need. This is the type of content. Look at this timeline, you know, creating PR packages. Like, I mean, everything that I possibly have came to mind, like I've truly tried to execute it. And I hope that maybe like in the future, like I would get more brands to tell me, this is my product. Not only do I want you to take the photos and the video of it, but I need strategy.
Yeah.
So that's going to be very exciting as well too. So everything kind of comes full circle.
For sure.
And that has been the biggest feedback when people see everything that I'm doing. They're like, this is like so fitting.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't seem forced or anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think that's why I've enjoyed it so much. Like I generally have just gone with the flow.
And you're so good about posting like things that you enjoy. Before I start about that, because you're good about it. But okay. So you're launching a home goods, I guess is that what it would be?
We're going to start off with homes, but we'll see home decor items, but we'll see where it goes. You know,
home decor items that you in your everyday life enjoy using.
Oh, yes.
And so that's how you picked your first couple of items, right?
So actually the reason behind that is that for me, working like with brands, like having my own storefront, like on Amazon and stuff like that, I've already been promoting a lot of products.
Sure.
And I would constantly get people asking me, where'd you get that mug? Where'd you get that candle? Where'd you get that charcuterie board? Like I would get questions like that. And of course, like I worked with brands where I can divert them. But then that's when that idea came in my head. And I was like, well, what if I had my own product and I could divert people to keep supporting me?
Yeah.
You know, as a small business, obviously we can't compete with Amazon.
Yeah.
But I'm not here to compete with Amazon. I'm here to just provide something else that's going to be added to their collection and focusing on not only the quality, but to me, as a former journalist as well too, it's focusing on the storytelling of things and truly focusing on supporting like local and small businesses.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm very, very proud of. And just looking at the values that I had and encompassing that in my products.
For sure.
And of course, after the pandemic, we spent so much time at home.
Yeah.
So it was just so fitting, you know, to have products that like I genuinely enjoy having at home. And not only for ourselves, but to me, I love gifting. That's my love language. So I'm always a type that I love to look for unique things to gift to people and that they would enjoy and use. And to me, that was like home stuff. Like, when we think of gifts, that's such a great, beautiful, warming gift to give to people. And so that's how we started off with that, with a couple of items. But obviously, I'm open-minded. We'll see what everybody else wants too.
Okay, but I want you to also, which is the craziest thing when she and I chatted about this even goes further back.
Yes.
So tell everybody about how even your parents, this is what your parents had as a business before they had their current business.
Yes.
They did what?
So they actually had their own home decor store here in Houston. It was called Bella Casa in North Houston. And so what my parents basically did, they had a brick and mortar, which now even looking at, I'm like, that is so crazy that y'all had a brick and mortar, because that's like obviously goals, but also that's a lot of work, you know? But basically what they did is a lot of like, well, in Spanish they call it mayoreo, which is wholesale, and they would bring a bunch of products and inventory from Mexico, and they would bring it here to people that wanted to have that in their houses. So like the cobertores, the ollas, the lamps, like everything that you could think of that's like a staple in a Mexican household. We always joke about it, but like the dry fruit statue things that everybody would have in the middle of their table, like those kinds of things, that's what my parents offered to families here in Houston. And I grew up in that store. Like after school, like they would pick us up and we would be in the back with all the inventory, like doing our homework, hanging out with our cousins. And like on my Instagram, that's where I showed as well too some of those photos that we're literally just hanging out with all the cobertores with my grandma. And there's a photo where my dad's like literally, I mean, I know he was probably so stressed and I'm like being a goofball, but he's like doing the numbers, writing, and then I'm over here like being a goofball with my parents. So I grew up in that. And so I think growing up in an environment like that, seeing my parents do something like that, this was so scary. I really do categorize as like probably one of the hardest things that I've done beyond quitting my job and going, you know, basically take that leap of faith. But seeing my parents and being in an environment of seeing so many people do this, it's, to me, it's such an inspiration. I said, well, if they did it, I can do it.
Sure.
And obviously my parents too. Whenever I would tell them all these ideas, are like, you have it so easy to do it. Like, you have the internet now, you know, you have social media, you can do it. So I think that for me was a huge push, that it's like, my parents have done it. Even my grandma, like, even last weekend, I wanted to show my grandma what I'm doing and explain it to her, because even now it's crazy to me to explain to them. They were like, so you're putting this on a website? Like, how does that work? Like, people are just going to buy on the website and you're going to send it to them? Like, that's how we sell now, you know, because they're used to a storefront. So even my grandma, showing her the product, she would gave me all these ideas, because my grandma grew up selling in flea markets too. So essentially it's a family thing as well too. And obviously the inspiration behind my name, the name of it, Trece, not only for my birthday, but the number 13 is such a special number in our family. My mom's birthday is January 13th. So we have a lot of 13th birthday, and that's our favorite number. So, and I just I thought about it so hard, the number. The name, that's such a hard thing to commit to.
Yeah.
So whenever I was thinking about it, I wanted to make sure that it was rooted in my family and our history and the inspiration more than anything. And it had
something to do with you that was special to you. I think that's always important. Like,
oh, yes.
To pick a name that, you know, I went through a gazillion names thinking about before I decided on her apparel. And I really didn't like the apparel part. I just wanted it to be her, but someone already had it. So I had to add the apparel part. So, you know, you have to like... And it just coincidentally, I had just gotten married too, so
it worked out.
That was also my last name, my married last name. So yeah, picking names is always hard, and you want it to mean something. But when people always see the name, they'll say, "Oh, by the way, did you know this is a last name? It's a German last name, and I didn't know that."
Interesting.
With one R though.
You're like, I'll take it.
Yeah, there's a lady that comes to the hive that only buys from me if it has things that have the her on it, because that's her last name.
That's amazing.
So she likes it, and so she'll come like, hey, you haven't brought anything that's monogrammed with her on it. I'm like, sorry. I'm like, that cost me way more than, doing the other thing. Anyway, okay. So what are you launching? What is your first launch? And you brought me my...
So I brought this PR package for Marisol so she could get a sneak peek. Obviously, Marisol has also been a huge part of this. One of the first people that knew about this and has guided me through this. So it was only fitting that she got a sneak peek of it before we launch. Well, by the time this goes out, we will already be launched.
It actually, the day this drops, it's the day her website launches.
December 13th.
Yes.
Did I say 13th? So everything I've done, trust me, I've thought about it, and I put so much thought and effort and purpose behind it all. So the 3 items that we're going to start off with is a charcuterie marble board. You can also check out our Instagram, and I show you ways for you to style this. I think a lot of the times when we see her, like, what am I really going to do with this? So I've really made sure that with the content, I've been able to show this is how you can style it. I learned how to do cute charcuterie boards now to show people how to do it. And then we have our candle, which is Santal Beach. It has sandalwood, coconut. I love the beach. And I just wanted to make sure everything that I did, it not only aligned with the aesthetic and the vibe that I'm going for, but also that it could basically attach and be part of anybody's home decor. Yeah. Like, it won't necessarily stand out. Yeah. So we have the candle, we have the board, and then we have our mugs that are brought in from Portugal, handmade. Even like the first time that I showed it, to Marisol, she was like, that mug is awesome. Yeah. Just even my mom, she was like, just the size of it. Just it's the like size, perfect. Everything. She was like, I don't even want to I want to give it to visitors. This is mine.
But do you know what I love a lot about it is, when you go to restaurants in Mexico, they serve you like cafe in this kind of cups. So I love cups like that. Like,
to me, that was also part of the inspiration as well too. Whenever I went to Mexico last year and I had gone specifically to Oaxaca, just to me, organic shaped mugs that like fit perfectly and you feel them. It's like, this is ceramic, like this, you can tell it's handmade. It's not for everyone, but I love that. I love how unique it is, you know? So to me, that was so important, not only to support like local makers, but also that's part of the line and everything that I put on there. Is like, we celebrate individuality and no 2 pieces will be alike. So even if you were to get more mugs of this, like, they're all going to be a little bit slightly different because they're not made with machines. They're made by hand. And that's something that I wanted to celebrate and that was very important to me. And then obviously kind of just wanted to present it in a beautiful way and included a couple of little goodies in there as well too for you to enjoy.
Also, just because I did get the back end of everything before, So tell them about the cup originally, how you were looking for it because you drank out of something similar in Mexico.
Yes.
But you couldn't find the maker in Mexico, so you found somebody in Portugal that
Yes.
actually sold something similar.
You know, that'll be actually the goal in 2024. Obviously, my family's Mexican, and that's so important to me, and I do want to. That is 100 like priority at the top of the list in 2024. That one of the collections has to be all of the items from Mexico. But as we know, shipping internationally and even from Mexico is a lot, and it's hard for a lot of makers over there that maybe are not familiar with shipping or feel comfortable with it. So thankfully, I was able to find a maker in Portugal. It was I honestly debated so much whether I wanted to include this in the first collection because if anybody knows, international shipping is a lot.
Yep.
And I knew that was going to have to translate in the investment for these pieces, but I was so like adamant about this. Like I can for a fact tell you it's going to be very hard for someone to find something like this. And I'm so passionate about it and I love it that I was like, you know, the very few that are going to be willing and able to invest in it, I can guarantee you're going to like love this mug. And actually one of the things that someone mentioned to me and I didn't even think about, one of my clients, when they looked at it, they're like, wow, like I feel like I can genuinely say like these are mugs that I could pass down for generations to come. And that was like a huge kind of light bulb that went off. And I was like, and she told me too, she was like, how many of the stuff that you have in your house right now do you think you can actually like give to someone like a kid or you could gift it to them because we go through things so quickly. And
well, I think we're living in the Amazon world.
Yeah.
Because we can get it so quickly from Amazon and we can get rid of it just as quickly,
exactly.
you know, because you know that you can just purchase a new one or, you know, it's.
And I think whenever, you know, like how our moms, we grew up saying it's like, si te cuesta, like lo vas a cuidar más, you know?
Exactly.
And so that's what I grew up also like in. And so when it came to all of these products and I was like, man, I know it's going to be an investment, but I'm so passionate about it and I genuinely love it. And I know that when people hold it, like they can feel that, like that warmness that we feel with a lot of like our products.
Well,
and
I
what
hope
I
you bring the plates of those.
Oh my gosh, they do have plates and everything.
You showed me. I was like, I hope you bring those. Those are beautiful. Because it's like, if you're going to have this, did you decide if you'll be willing to sell them in groups or not?
So these are going to be sold in sets.
And they are going to be, okay,
so
good.
basically in a set of 2 because like, man, that happy medium is so tough. Because when you're just a couple like me, I don't have any kids, but we're a couple, like we only need 2, but then a family needs 4. So the happy medium is like just sell it at 2, and if you want more, you just get more.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I that's always a tough thing with a lot of these things. Even with the board, I was like, I got 2 of these. Like I bought 2 of these for like my family because if you see on our Instagram, styling these like in like 2s and having like one can be all meats, another one can be all cheeses, another one can be all fruits. So there's so many different ways to style and use this. And even with the candles, like the reason I chose this specific is part of like our values is sustainability. So all of my packaging is eco-friendly.
Okay.
And on top of that, when I chose like, for example, this candle, the purpose behind is that when you use the candle, you can remove the sticker, clean it out, and it's a glass vessel that you can drink out of, you can use for storage, anything. Yeah. So the idea is that everything that you get, like you don't really have to ever throw away. You can repurpose it. So like how we saw it, girl math, you'll get your money back.
Exactly. What was the most scary thing about launching whenever you were starting like everything? Because this has been a work in progress.
Oh, yes.
Y'all, when I tell y'all she planned all the pictures around her trips.
Oh, yes.
And a lot of her pictures were taken on her trips. I thought that was like, oh my God, talking about an investment in like thinking way ahead of it.
And you know what? Sometimes I wish I could just go on a trip and enjoy things. But to me, like, we had a trip planned in October to go to California, San Diego. And I was like, why would I take this photo of this candle on a table here in Houston when it's beach related? Yeah. It only makes sense to take the photo at the beach. So I think the hardest thing, honestly, was just all the admin, back-end administrative stuff. You'd think that would be like the easiest thing, but that's something I'm not familiar with. That's something I've never done before. I've been service-based for now about to be 5 years. Just sending invoices and proposals. And this is a whole other realm of just figuring out, like, I literally tested out, thank God, yesterday, actually, I sent a sample of a candle to my parents' house to practice the packaging and to make sure, like, is the packaging gonna work?
Yeah.
And yesterday when my mom opened it and it was like, enterito,
Stupid,
was like, thank God, we're good. So that honestly has been like my biggest challenge, that I know that this is like quality items, but between the time it leaves me and it gets to the customer, I have no control over that except just making sure that it gets there like in one piece.
Yeah.
And so just finding those alternatives and making sure that, okay, I just want to make sure it gets there on time and perfectly.
Yeah, because candles are scary.
Yes.
That's why I've haven't committed to shipping candles. I only do it at the markets because I was always afraid of breaking. And then it's like, what do you do if they break? I've only shipped twice, and it's only because these are people that I know are local and they've bought from me before. Yeah. And I said, listen, and I'm able to actually talk to them. So I'm like, if they break when they arrive to your place, let me know, and I will meet you somewhere, and I'll just give you a brand new one instead of shipping them.
Oh, yeah.
Because the lady was asking, hey, I went on your website. I didn't find any of the candles.
I know, and those candles are so good, too.
Thank you. And I just said, well, here's the deal. I'm afraid to ship, and, you know, I don't think I'm ready to ship candles. I'm scared of it. But like you said, and also it's expensive to ship things that are glass.
Not
because
only
now
glass,
you have to buy
but that
different,
are heavy.
Yes, and then that costs more.
Yes.
And then you got to make sure like the right wrapping is around it. We live in Houston, so if it's too hot,
that's why I only say I'm only doing the candles during the winter.
Yes,
because that's one less thing.
Yes.
But after that, y'all just enjoy this candle for the winter, but you probably won't see them in the summer.
Yeah, or unless
we go in person at some point. Yeah, but for now, I mean, it worked out, and that's another thing too that I was so afraid of, and it's like there's so many things that are out of my control. Shipping, taxes, when people pay online. I'm like, I feel so bad that people have to pay this, but it's out of my control to get this to you. It costs, shipping costs specifically for this. I think also people are used to when they buy light things, shipping isn't as expensive. Like the weight you have to be taken into consideration. So I'm over here literally practicing wrapping, putting it in boxes and weighing them to make sure everything's accurate. And I mean, the post office is now my second home. Yeah. Tell me, when have I ever gone to the post office?
Yeah.
So that was a huge hurdle of being afraid. I was like, when do I ever go to the post office?
Well, you can get them to come pick up your packages, but if you're like a control freak like me,
100%.
I need to know it made
that
it there.
I put it in there.
Yes, because I did the pickup one time. Dulce told me about, she goes, I watched your vlog. Why do you drop off your packages at the post office? She goes, you can schedule it.
Yeah.
And I said, I didn't know you can schedule it, by the way, until she told me. Then I did. And then I got an email like, hey, I ordered something from you. And like, it hasn't made it here. And I ordered it last week.
Those are little things you go through as a small business.
I was like, I can't ever again. So Juan's nice enough to drop it off for me, my husband, or I'll go and drop it off. But that's another, shipping is a scary thing in general. What do you hope to launch once this sells out? Are you going to continue to carry the same items? Are you going to be somebody that's going to have like, these are my 3 staples and these will always be there? Or this is what I'm launching with, but you better get it now because I don't know if I'm going to keep carrying. Like, what have you decided if you're going to have a staple piece, I guess?
At the moment, I don't think so. And I'll tell you this from my own experience of, I like to have different things. Yeah. I like to expand my collections, especially in the sense of what else can I add? Like, can I add like another board? So to me, for right now, one of the biggest things that I want to support is my own community and more local and small businesses. So the more that I can support, the better. And that's only possible if I just expand the collections into other items. So this is going to be limited. Once it's done, it's done. And I want to support more makers. Yeah.
Okay, got it. 'Cause I know it's hard because we're kind of similar in the sense it's like you're into one thing for a little bit and then you're like, I'm no longer into that. Now I'm into whatever other color. Like I saw the Pantone color for 2024.
Oh yeah, the peach fuzz.
Ooh, I was like, I kind of like that color. I was like, can I change some of my colors to be, like I'm into this dang on green. No se me ha quitado esto. I still love the green. So I'm like, I'm still into that green or whatever. But
And I get that. I think that was actually one of the biggest inspirations behind making sure that everything that I do is very neutral and minimal.
Yeah.
Because I wanted people to be able to look at it and that you can make it yours.
Yeah.
That if this were to go like on your cabinet, on your table, you can still have all of your other decorations with your own colors and your own styles. And like,
and
this won't
gonna
like, it'll just blend in.
Yep.
And because I wanted to appeal to a lot of people, you know, I do obviously have a lot of my following that's my age. I have, you know, people that are older than me. I also have my grandma. To me, my biggest compliment is my grandma seeing the mug. She's like, me gusta mucho.
Yeah.
And so I was like, wow, okay, the fact that like my grandma loves the mug and I love the mug says so much about being able to adapt
For sure.
to different styles, designs, age groups, etc. And that's always in the back of my mind, that at the end of the day, I want these to be pieces that anybody can look at, like, I can see that in my house, or I can see that in my room.
And I never really even thought about that. It's funny because we used to pass on china to like,
oh, really?
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's something that you do.
I
Like,
mean,
if you get left with some, like, you know, someone who owned, like your grandparents or whoever owned expensive china, and then it's like, oh, that wasn't, I inherited that china from my great grandmother or whatever. But when you said that right now, it's like, oh my God, for sure these cups are like.
And that's something that I didn't even think about
either, but
until literally
yes,
one
I'm
of my
looking at
clients like looked at it. It's like, I can generally say like, I can pass that down to somebody. And that's not something that we can say that often. And I think about that too. Whenever I look at my closet, I was like, man, you know, God willing, one day I have a daughter. What would I give her? Like, do I have quality pieces that I can like pass down, you know, to, you know, generations to come? And so it kind of trickles down between my family to me, and now from me to the next generation.
Yeah, that's kind of, it's really cool. I'm really excited for you. I don't think you're going to have a problem selling any of this stuff. So I just feel like you just better start packing up on the inventory already, just because I don't think you're going to have a problem at all.
Especially, and perfect for the holidays.
That's what I'm saying. It's you're launching right at a perfect time to where people look for these types of items for Christmas. So it's like a given, like, well,
either for yourself or you gift it to someone.
Yeah. So I think it's perfect. And I love it. So I'm really excited for you. Congratulations. I can't wait to see like how much this grows and to see you. And I really hope that you decide to do what we talked about earlier. And if that happens, then I'll let everybody know where else they can find you. So that'll be fun to know. So thank you so much for being on. I know you got to go. You got to go drop off more of these PR packages. And I can't wait to show everyone how I get to use it in my home. So thank you so much. Congratulations. And I can't wait to see Teresa grow.
Thank you.